Hey guys, what's going on? Before the video today, I quickly wanted to take a minute of your time and talk about World Autism Awareness Day, which is today, at least in my time zone. So a lot of you might probably already know that I had an autistic brother who passed away sadly 2 years ago. I've made quite a lot of personal videos talking about it, and of course he had such a strong impact on my life and who I am today. His name was Sean, and just I can't say enough amazing things about him. Again, he was autistic, and the cause, growing up with him became very, very close to my heart. Today, I could talk about Sean, which I love talking about Sean, amazing guy, and but instead, I want to tell you guys a story about me, and it's kind of a confession really quickly. And when I was in high school, which was over a decade ago now, oh my god, I'm getting old, I have a big regret that I've never told anybody about from my high school days. And that was, on a serious note, is I never bullied or made fun of or picked on people who were different from me, intellectually or developmentally challenged people, because I grew up with somebody who was intellectually and developmentally challenged. However, one thing that I'm embarrassed about looking back is that I always cared too much about surface things and popularity and what other people would think of me and where other people fell on kind of the, I don't know, oh, he's friends with who, or he or she's talking to him. I don't know, I guess I got caught up at that point in my life. I'm embarrassed to say I was kind of caught up in the whole social scene and stuff like that. So I never went out of my way to embrace and form friendships with people who were disabled in some ways. And that is a huge regret for me. It really is. And I'm not just saying that for lip service. It's some of the people in my adult life who I've met who are different from me, who do have things that they deal with, like we all do in life, especially autism or mental cognitive impairments. These people have such great value oftentimes, way above your normal person who I was so concerned about back in those days. So my challenge to you guys, my subscribers, would be next time, especially those of you who are still in school, is go to that person, you know who I'm talking about. I'm sure you all know somebody, right? Go to that person who's an outsider. Maybe they're autistic. Maybe they have some other mental or developmental disability. Or maybe they're just different from you, and maybe people call them, make fun of them or whatever. I challenge you guys to be the bigger person. Be the bigger person and reach out to that person and try to develop a friendship. Who knows, they might just become your best friend in the future. So guys, don't make the same mistake I did. Go out there and be embracing of people who are different from you. And, maybe together doing our part here at CWA Mobile Gaming. I don't want to sound too pretentious, but maybe we can make the world a little bit better of a place today on World Autism Awareness Day. So guys, enjoy the video. Pompeyo is a beast. See you guys on the flip side. Hey guys, welcome to the main video. I know that was longer than a minute there, that intro, but the cause was super important to me. I hope the message was well received. Today, the wait will be worth it because I am joined by Pompeyo, finished #1 for the third time in his career last season, just yesterday. I'm going to bring you the matches that ended the latter season. It's going to be some great gameplay. By the way, #1, #2, and #3 players last season will all be on the channel today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. Going to be a lot of great content. We'll have Botchum actually on voice, so I know you guys love learning from him. You won't want to miss that one. So let's go ahead in honor of Pompeyo. This is the deck that he used, by the way. We'll max out the balloon here. And yeah, well, hey, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger. I'm not a big Lava Loon player, so I never really maxed it out. But let's spend the gold. We had it. Let's do it. So, Dirty Gemmer out of my system. Now let's go ahead and hop into the replays here. And again, these are some really incredibly difficult matchups to end off the season ladder. And it kind of shows you guys that you gotta be more than good to finish very high on ladder. And remember, these are all pro players pushing max accounts, contracted for various teams, so they're all really good is what I'm trying to say. It's not just that they have maxed out cards. I mean, look at yours truly. I finished like 3900th in the world, and I have max cards too. So anyway, let's kind of get into the gameplay here. And this first matchup, to me, is probably the most unbelievable win that Pompeyo pulled off. He's going against a deck with not only Rocket, but Rocket and Tornado. Not only Rocket and Tornado, but Rocket, Tornado, Executioner, Golem deck. Are you kidding me? And Pompeyo is going to really thrive using this deck, using a combination of 7 and 10 elixir pushes, plus a zap at times. So the 7 elixir push is the Ice Golem and the Balloon, which you saw there, plus the Miner in some occasions, which you actually saw there, using all 10 elixir. And that was a perfect example of how to handle an opening pump by the opponent when playing this deck, especially if you don't have Fireball in cycle. You can be aggressive and hit the bridge with the Ice Golem and the Balloon, and then send the Miner into the pump. That was beautifully played. We took out a lot of HP off that pump. We forced a Tornado out of the opponent, a Rocket out of the opponent, and we still made contact with that Balloon. Let's see how Pompeyo handles this push, the big Golem Nightwish push and bats in the right lane. Well, we kill all those bats using the Ice Golem, but the opponent is smart here. Now, something I should say about DJ Koo is... DJ Koo, I said it kind of lame. Anyway, we're able to cycle back to another tombstone there, and the witch is actually, the night witch is going to head to the opposite tower, so kind of splitting the damage by the opponent there. He handled that defense really well, although we will take some pretty heavy damage onto the left tower here. And you can see the opponent has the advantage going into double elixir time, and that's not a good thing when you're going against a golem deck. Most players would lose this match, especially given where they are right now. So Pompeyo, knowing that he's probably going to go ahead and get a golem push going soon, does drop an aggressive balloon there and forces another NATO and Executioner out of the opponent here. So really a lot of the elixir that they wanted to use on a big golem push, they had to use defending there. Now again, what I was going to say about DJ Koo is he actually doesn't make a lot of mistakes here. It's not a testament to you know, DJ Koo playing this deck awfully, you know, horribly, even though he has the advantage in the matchup. It's really Pompeyo just playing next level here, although he did make one tiny mistake on that tombstone, just placing it a second too late and not distracting that golem there, so he does lose his left tower. We get the opponent's tower down to 98, but we're going to need a miner pronto. So we play the aggressor here, and we continue to be aggressive in the right lane with an ice golem and a balloon. That balloon will make contact there and get a couple hits. Meanwhile, our miner gets snuck in, always changing up miner locations is Pompeyo, and look at that. We take the right tower down to 563. Meanwhile, we're able to defend pretty well on the left using Mega Minion, or on our right, excuse me, using Mega Minion Inferno Dragon. This is a great match to kind of rewatch if you guys want to get a sense on how to deal with a really hard matchup, a really difficult and hard counter matchup, right? And the opponent's not too happy about it. And of course, can you blame him? Unbelievable. How'd you lose to a balloon cycle when you had all the counters that you needed? Well, you went up against Pompeyo, and who can blame him? Again, he didn't play that poorly. It was just Pompeyo played it incredibly well. So let's go ahead and watch the one against bridge spam, right? Because against a bridge spam deck, you got to remember we only really have 3 cards that can distract or kite the opponent's bridge spam, right? We have the miner, the tombstone, and the ice golem, unless I'm forgetting one. So Pompeyo always has to be ready to use the miner defensively in this matchup, and it's something that if you guys want to go ahead and emulate in your own gameplay, you're gonna have to do the same, right? And in fact, in one circumstance here in this matchup, Pompeyo does even cycle the miner behind the king tower just to give him an extra body kind of on the ground to distract from the bandit and the dark prince. So here we go, we kind of trade cycling at this point. We're going to cycle really late into the first minute here of this match. Just kind of find out what the opponent has. A little bit of chip damage in the left. That's not a bad play there because we do get a swing or two. I don't know if they swing. What do skeletons do? I don't know. Whatever the skeleton did, we're going to get a little bit of damage to that left tower. So, you know, playing it really nice here. You can see Pompeyo's taken no damage. He cycles to another tombstone there, which could be a little bit dangerous because, again, again, look at his hand, guys. He only has the miner right now as a ground unit, and the opponent, you can see, he's kind of rearing to go there with a bandit. However, he is going to cycle the bandit behind the king tower, not played at the bridge. So we're going to go ahead and respond with a cycled miner behind our king tower. I told you guys that, again, this is not an awful play to go ahead and do, using that miner as kind of a defensive, you know, kind of a glass tank type role in this matchup. So you're going to have to do this both against Goizen matchups and against bridge spam most prevalently. Okay, so that Mega Minion does get a swing on the left tower, so that puts us, you know, a bit in the lead here, and Pompeyo can kind of chill and make sure he just responds to the opponent and then picks the perfect time to go in the left lane. Now, think about it, guys. Pompeyo's had that balloon in his hand since the beginning of the match, or at least very close to, and he hasn't even used it once. That's discipline right there. You know, I probably would have rushed a balloon at one of these points when I did feel like I had an elixir advantage. But he waits until all the way until double elixir time. Now the opponent starts to go pretty aggressive here in the double elixir time. So watch the right lane, and you'll start to see the opponent will eventually get to the point where they'll be spamming so much at us that Pompeyo just decides to tower trade and take the left tower. So let's see what kind of leads him to that decision. Again, getting that fireball out of the opponent there, and he knows no fireball, but at this point, he doesn't want to use right away, he doesn't want to overcommit to the right defense, so he decides to take the left tower, again, like we kind of said there. So he's going to take the left tower right now, and he loses his right tower. He's going to zap to reset that Inferno Dragon, and then that left tower is going to be down. Now check this out. This is where you guys really want to pay attention to some awesome decision making by Pompeyo. It gets really close here. In fact, his king tower is now down to 578 HP left. So what does he do here? Well, the first thing he wants to do is get a hit on this tower because he has to even things up a little bit. He knows the opponent can possibly just fireball cycle him out. So he does get his first hit and death damage on that right tower thanks to that balloon and ice golem push. Now he's going to use a defensive tombstone in that position to really prevent any sort of spam hitting his tower directly. The opponent makes what probably in hindsight was his big mistake. He goes ahead and he fireballs, trying to fireball cycle. Pompeyo goes all out. He has that tombstone again protecting his king tower, and he decides to go in with miner. Ice golem always placed first before the balloon in the pocket. That way the opponent's troops will target the ice golem. In that case, it was an Inferno Dragon and minions that targeted the ice golem before they targeted the balloon. So the balloon got to the tower, the miner helped out, and he ended up pulling out the victory there, even though things were looking a little sketchy at first. So this is an interesting matchup here, and there's actually a long stalemate, so let me kind of vamp for you guys. So Darklight and Pompeyo are both pretty much, I'm sure there's a lot of people who you can make the argument fit in there as well, but in my mind, they're two of the most well-known pros in all of Mexico, and certainly ladder pros. No one is more accomplished than Pompeyo and Darklight in terms of a kind of a demographic from a certain region who's most, I don't know, prolific at a certain element of the game. Boy, was that convoluted. So basically what I'm trying to say is they're both super popular, and check out this confetti. I thought about cutting out the first minute and a half here because nobody makes any plays. You can see Darklight has, they both know what each other is playing, which is interesting going into the match, right? So Pompeyo has his tombstone ready for the Expo, and Darklight has, you know, whatever he's possibly going to need ready, but he has a kind of an awkward starting hand, and so does Pompeyo. So both of these players, look at the confetti. They're both known to have some of the most live spectators in game. And I just thought about it to myself. I decided not to cut out the first minute and a half so I can just kind of talk to you guys about it. But I wonder what it's like to be Pompeyo or Darklight, where there's just like 200 people watching you in every match and cheering their absolute asses off for you every time you do anything. It must be kind of a cool feeling, you know, a lot of pressure and also pretty cool, right? To have that many people rooting for you every single match. And it must be so awkward for Pompeyo to go into like a competitive match in like CCGS last year and not have a million people throwing confetti every single time, although he did actually have quite a lot of confetti too, because the Facebook friends from back when he had like thousands of them actually can still spectate. Anyway, I digress. They've started playing here. And you know what? An Expo versus a Balloon cycle, it's anybody's really call to say who has the better matchup advantage. Some people might say the Balloon does, but remember that Darklight's deck 2.9 Expo cycle actually cycles considerably faster than Pompeyo's, right? Because Pompeyo's is 3.3, 2.9, that's a 0.4 advantage, and Darklight does have the cycle cards in his deck as well. So Pompeyo has to be very, very careful here. Now, he doesn't want to make a move on this Expo until he has the 7 Elixir to quickly double drop the Mega Minion followed by the Balloon. And this is going to get really, really close here because, again, Darklight can, using Skeletons, just really, really quickly cycle Skeletons and, excuse me, Ice Spirit, cycle really quickly back to the Expo before Pompeyo has the Balloon in hand, as you can see right here. So Pompeyo has to switch from defending with Balloon and then defending with Minor Fireball, which isn't going to be the optimal defensive decision here. So here it goes. This is going to be really Pompeyo's big, big push here, guys. He comes in with a Balloon. He gets that Tesla down. He had the Minor already in there, but the Minor's going to get a ton of chip damage, and then he Fireballs plus the Balloon death damage. That's going to put it into his grasp of one zap away, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. He beat the Expo God, or at least one of the Expo Gods. I don't know. I always say here, whenever I call somebody a god of something on my channel and in Clash Royale, we're pagans when it comes to Clash Royale. Many, many gods that we all look up to. I won't say worship. It kind of sounds kind of weird. Anyway, let's watch this matchup here. It's a more traditional Golem NATO deck, and the reason I wanted to show this one as well, because I could have showed a Mortar matchup, but Mortar is a bit easier than Expo. The Mortar replay that he shared, basically he's just hitting that Mortar really quickly, either with Minor Fireball or with a nice Balloon push, and the Balloon of course survives, so you can put the Minor on the tower, the Princess Tower, and send in the Balloon. There's a variety of different strategy options for you there, but it's an easier matchup than, in my opinion, than a Golem matchup. So let's see how he handles another Golem matchup, and this time there's no spectators for the poor opponent here, or there may be one or two, but so all the confetti will be on Pompeyo's side. So here we go again, just kind of cycling here Pompeyo early out. You'll notice that he very, very, very rarely, if ever, I guess the one exception would be when they drop a pump, right? When the opponent dropped a pump early on, he went in with the aggressive punishing of the Balloon and the Minor. Otherwise, he's going to wait a little bit till he at least knows all the cards in the opponent's deck, or at least most of the cards. Now here in this situation, the opponent makes a miscalculation. This is something that you guys should all know, that a Rocket in NATO does not kill a Balloon. It will leave it with like, what, 1 HP left? A little sliver. And Pompeyo actually takes the left tower, all because of that misplay. He used a Rocket and a NATO on that Balloon, and hey, Balloon OP? Can't stop it with a Rocket and a NATO? That's crazy. But it's something that Pompeyo actually uses in a lot of matchups. It's a strategy, I should say, that when he knows the opponent has Rocket, say in a Golem matchup with Rocket, or a bait matchup with Rocket, you know, he can go ahead and put the Minor on the Princess in a bait matchup and still go in and connect with, even if they have, you know, NATO and Princess and Rocket, you can still connect oftentimes with that Balloon. Speaking of Balloon play, again, guys, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for tomorrow's video, because Botcham really gets in depth with Balloon placement, which I found really, really new, basically. I found it awesome and great to learn, but also stuff that I never even knew about, like where to place your Balloon and where to place your Lava Hound in different matchups when you first drop them in the back of the your side of the arena. So Pompeyo goes ahead and cleans up here for the 3 crown, the opponent frustrated, and can you blame him? Pompeyo just such a beast. So congratulations to Pompeyo for finishing first overall. Guys, huge shout out to Stats Royale. You can see his profile, Pompeyo's, in the link that I'll put in the description below. Guys, happy Autism World Awareness Day. Continue to hopefully spread love and joy and accept people for who they are out there, guys. I know it's a cheesy and corny message, but it's so important, and you'll find yourself happier when and if you do. So guys, thank you, and huge shout out. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a huge shout out to Bren Chong. Check out his information as well in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.